Hey, how was your last Apple Store visit? Microsoft to take a leap of faith with Edge. Want to see a new show? Some people claim that's what Google's new privacy features are tonight on the Mac to the Future Livecast Go. No, it's Mac to the Future Go Livecast. Got it this time, I swear. That's what it is. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's the Mac to the Future Go Livecast. This is episode 99, which means that next week's show is going to be spectacular. Yeah, spectacular, because every show is spectacular. I am your somewhat humble host, Guy Serle, and I am joined, I hope, let's see if this works. Hooray! It did work by David Ginsburg. How you doing today, Dave? Tonight?
I am doing great, and it was probably just as exciting as the Kentucky Derby was on this past Saturday.
Yeah, who would have guessed what was going on with that? The winner was actually disqualified.
And placed 17th.
Wow. So all the people who bet on that horse won nothing.
Zero.
So is this one of those cases where, because it was like, what, almost 20 minutes after the race? When
Stewards were making their decision, yeah.
Yeah, so since it was like 20 minutes later, how does that work for people who bet on the horse that was eventually declared the winner?
They made a lot of money.
Well, that's if they held on to their ticket, because I know a lot of people, as soon as the race is over, they're like, I didn't win nothing.
Yeah, but then the announcer says, hold all tickets. There is a jockey's objection.
Oh, is that why? See, I haven't been to a horse race, oh my God, since the mid-'80s, and that wasn't even in this country. It's... Well, anyway,
I'll be happy to say that the races prior to that race, I cashed in a substantial amount of money, so I'm very happy.
So you bet on the winner?
I played some the 4 races prior to the Kentucky Derby and made a bit of a killing.
But not on the Derby itself.
I had the Derby, but I had the horse that got impeded. If that horse would have gotten through, I would have won. But,
see, I don't understand horse racing.
That's why we're not here to talk about horse racing. So
yeah, but that's what we've done for the last few minutes. So yeah, that works. All right. I'm not seeing any comments coming up, and I'm seeing comments happening, so I'm not really sure.
Marcus is in the room.
Yeah, so those should be coming up, but they're not. Let's see. Are they live?
Marcus was saying something wrong.
Okay, see, there's the comments there.
No.
So, okay, I know what I can do. I can do this. If I come up here and put myself there. Don't you love it when I'm doing this live? Isn't this just wonderful? So then I get rid of myself here. And then I can... Whoa!
There we go. Now I see him.
Okay, now we're all set. Yeah, it's not often I have to do things like this. Well, other than every week. All right. So, we've got some big changes coming to Apple stores. Maybe. This is a story from Business Insider. Apple stores have changed over the last few years, and not everyone is happy about the changes that Angela, was it Arendts made? Arendts. She removed the Genius bars, checkout lines, and streamlined the training that Apple Store employees get. And some claim that hasn't made the experience better, and in the eyes of some, even worse. Now, you have, of course, gone to Apple stores lately. What's been your feeling about the way the stores are now as compared to the way they used to be?
Well, I kind of agree with a lot of people that have experienced the way the store is. It can tend to be a bit unorganized when you go to try to purchase something. And go, oh, go over here, wait in this line over here, or go over here and go sit at this table, and they'll be with you shortly. There's a lot of unorganization when it comes to that. I know Angela's focus was to bring everybody like in as a place to hang out. Today at Apple, that was the whole big thing that she had been promoting. This kind of came off of she did a podcast and was interviewed about what about her career and what she did with Apple and what things she did. So, but I think that's the biggest complaint of a lot of people, and I would tend to agree that the geniuses seem scattered. You don't know where to go. Whereas back in the past, you used to have one place to go. There was the big long table, and you got help with geniuses to help with your product. So I think they're going to have to reevaluate.
Go
a lot
back
of
to
that
something
stuff.
like that.
Yeah, go back to something like that maybe, or I mean, I understood where Angela was trying to go with getting people come into the stores and just make it a place to hang out and not necessarily just a place to always just make a purchase. Because purchases at Apple stores can tend to be large amounts, so not everybody does it. But then people also come in there. That's what I would do, being an Apple enthusiast as I am. I mean, I would go in the
Just go
stores and
and lounge,
see what's going on.
check stuff out.
Yeah, and then I would sit in maybe an occasional Today at Apple session and stuff like that. So, but I think they were making comments too. A lot of employees weren't as well trained, especially to being a genius, than they should be, and a lot of some employees be a little short with some customers. So, but I can guarantee you they'll relook at that, especially with this DJ O'Brien. She has like the article says, she's got her hands full. She's gonna have a lot to do to get things better than it's been. So.
Well, but how much of this was really because of the changes that were made in the stores and just the sheer numbers of people that are now purchasing Apple products and coming in to see stuff? I mean, when I think Angela took over in 2014, 2015.
5 years ago, yeah.
It was after, I think the guy's name was Ron Johnson, was the one
Ron
that was.
Johnson, right, who actually used to run Pennies.
Yeah. And look how well he did there.
Yeah.
So
he left at a good time from Pennies.
Yeah, he did. He really, really did. And then, Angela comes in, and a couple of things that she did, I did kind of like. I like the fact there wasn't a checkout line anymore, that you could go up to almost any Apple employee and say, okay, I want to buy this thing. Can you, ring me up and get me out? Because, I mean, it wasn't like there were a lot of people that were going in there and using cash. As a matter of fact, I don't think you could spend cash in an Apple store.
They had the registers. They would have those hidden under the table, and you'd see them take their little iPod Touch and wave it over to open the drawer. And I'd seen them do that all the time. So they did take cash. There was plenty of times I sat in the store. I saw someone firing off hundreds of dollars, and paying off buying an iPad or a Mac. So they take cash. Don't worry, they do.
Okay. Well, I'd never seen it since they made those changes, and frankly, most of my purchases tended to be kind of on the heavy side, which being that it's an Apple store isn't that hard to do. So the fact that that pretty much everybody was paying with credit card, and you could go to almost any employee that wasn't doing anything, which was a rare event in and of itself, because it seemed like they were always busy, especially after probably like starting 2016 when the iPhone 6 came out. I think that was, I mean, that had so much explosive growth as far as people rushing out to get phones that it doesn't really surprise me that the stores suddenly became so much more crowded.
Right. And that's, what it says. But I mean, Apple's got 70,000 employees now. And just quoting the article, it says the quality of employees in that total have slipped. I mean, and I kind of noticed it in some of these folks. And you'd ask them questions, and I said, these people don't know much. And I was kind of surprised, to have at least some basic knowledge of the products. And then you'd ask them questions, and they'd be like, I'm not sure. I would get that experience sometimes. So yeah, I noticed it over the last year or two that things were kind of slipping a little bit when it came to what was the experience was at the Apple Store. But I think it'll get better. I think Angela did a lot of good things, and listening to the podcast and the interview she did, very inspiring lady. I think she's a very smart lady, very savvy business person, and she came from Burberry, brought that company from nothing and when she became CEO of that company, she got that company on the map and did real well with that. So I think she did okay with Apple, but I think a lot because she didn't have a lot of tech background and understanding it, other than she had more of the retail and the business background.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, that was kind of what they were hired for. They weren't hired to be tech people.
I'm not saying they have to be tech people like me and you, but
more you.
Yeah. But
what's wrong with everything?
Yeah. They should have some good knowledge of technology, and I think she had her fair share of it. But she knew where she was not. That was not her place. She had the people to do it under the retail arm. So.
Okay, well then let's move on to the next story. Microsoft is on the edge. This is a story from Apple Insider, and I forgot to do this. Blip, blip. There we go. Microsoft is on, and for people who didn't see it, there it is right there. But we're going to go to this one. Yep. Not since the old days of the PowerPC has a browser from Microsoft had much traction, but the Redmond-based company is looking to change that with its Edge browser, a Chromium-based effort similar to Google's Chrome browser. However, if you're one of those poor saps that need Internet Explorer compatibility, you poor sap, this might be the best way to do that. Now, where I work, of course, we have Windows, and we're now on, finally, Windows 10, and we have the Edge browser. However, quite a few of the web-based applications that we're using all require Internet Explorer. Including a lot of the stuff with SharePoint, which is a Microsoft product, and a lot of times it's not working for Edge. Pardon me?
So they may not have upgraded to the new version of SharePoint.
Where I work? No. Yeah. We're on this weird combination of 2010 and 2013 while still trying to use the modern view as compared to the classic view. And it's such a hodgepodge that half the time, as a somewhat knowledgeable administrator within where I work, I'm not sure where to go to get something fixed. And then when you figure, like, if you wanted to, I know this isn't the SharePoint show, but if you wanted to make some changes, say to automatically generated email, in which case you need SharePoint Designer, and you have a list that's looking for Designer 2016, but the latest one that you've been given is 2013, and you can't open it because it needs 2016. It's like, what are you going to do? And it's this weird hodgepodge of old and new technology, and Microsoft really, really not trying to force people to update. And the way that you force people to update is you go, you know what? At this point right here, we're going to break compatibility with all that old stuff because we can't support it anymore.
They do it. Don't worry. I mean, they've done it with systems I've worked with over the years, and they give this deadline. Hey, you got to get this upgraded. We've had to upgrade to Windows 10 because Windows 8 is giving problems.
Sure.
Our interface isn't working. Now, going back to Edge with on the Mac, I mean, I installed it this morning as soon as it got advertised that it was out. It was not officially released, but The Verge, which we didn't read this article early this morning, sent out, hey, look, you could download Edge right now. So, of course, I did. It actually is fast. I was actually very impressed with its speed. Yeah, it's buggy. I tried to launch the podcast.
I mean, doesn't it mostly just look like Chrome? Is there anything that sets it off apart from Chrome other than like a logo?
it's got a lot of the edge based front ends of it, but it definitely, I agree with you. It has some Chrome
Elements.
looks to it, elements, yeah. Because it, and then the cool thing was actually when I installed it, it automatically migrated all my settings and everything from my Chrome browser into Edge, and it had all my passwords, everything. It asked you if you wanted to do that, and you could. So as soon as I launched it, all my shortcuts were there, all my favorite bar was there, ready to go, and it was great. And
Now, is that because I know that when Google used to have a browser based in WebKit,
right,
that you could switch back and forth with shortcuts and bookmarks and all the rest of that. Do you think that that's the same kind of thing we're talking about here, since both Edge and Chrome are using the same web engine?
Similar,
or is it just browsers these days can share information? Because the part that surprised me is sharing of password data
which is
between the two browsers.
It did surprise me. I didn't think it would do that, and it did. But the biggest thing I noticed between Chrome and Edge is Chrome is a big resource pig. It really it drains the battery on your Mac. So that's one of the things you got to watch out for. But so I've been monitoring it all morning, seeing what's the difference in the battery usage between Chrome and Edge. Edge was by far lower than Chrome. I mean, Chrome is definitely still a pig when it comes to sucking up battery life on your Mac. But I was pleasantly surprised that it looked good. It's going to be interesting to see where things go now, because I mean, even on the Windows side of things, they have the Edge browser that was specifically written for Windows. Now it's going to be based on the Chromium platform. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I have no issue with.
Wasn't Edge always based on the Chrome engine?
No.
What was it before? WebKit?
It's WebKit its own platform, Microsoft's platform. That's how it is currently.
Okay, but that was Internet Explorer. I thought Edge was always a Chromium-based browser. Really?
Yep.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yes.
This is going to be a short show. We only got one more story to talk about. It's been kind of a slow week. Not a whole lot going on.
That's why we talked about horse racing.
Yeah, exactly. The last story that I have for tonight is Google's Privacy Theater. This is in regards to their I/O conference. I think is still going on.
It is.
They announced some new privacy features at the conference, and many are calling it marginal improvements at best. Some of the highlights include facial recognition and voice searches done on device rather than sent to remote servers, an incognito mode for Google Maps and search apps. Android phone software will also alert users when apps may be exploiting access to phone location data and some of your more personal information, and the ability to keep tracking cookies in check while still allowing some to keep you logged into services. Now, this sounds to me a lot like the privacy features that Apple built into Safari, but not quite as robust. And of course, the problem is Google taking a more public stance in regards to privacy. I think we all welcome it, but at the same time, their entire business model is based on, you hate to use words like exploiting user data, but that's not really the phrase I was looking for. Using information that is voluntarily given to them by users of their services, all their various services, to sell to third parties for targeted advertising. Right. It's not, and Apple is partially, in my opinion, is partially to blame for this. The huge bugaboo in regards to privacy and how Apple has been pushing privacy. Now everybody seems to think that Microsoft and Google and Amazon and all these other companies are, looking for all the dirty pictures that they took when they were teenagers so that they can throw them online someplace. When it's not so much about the individual users as it's about advertising money. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the privacy piece. I mean, I'm give up. I mean, this is Google we're talking about here. Privacy is you're not going to have privacy. So I just can't see you being overly concerned about it. They make money because of advertising. I mean, they make money because they mine all this data from their users. If you're using a Gmail account, you have to understand. Yeah, Gmail's free, but they gotta get the data from you. So I mean, it's not free. I mean, if you're concerned about privacy, then you shouldn't be using Google. I mean, you shouldn't be.
Well,
I mean, let's face it. I mean,
yeah,
that's what I tell people.
it is free. All of these services that Google puts out there is free to the user as far as monetary cost goes, but it isn't free as far as they've got to make something somewhere. This is the nature of the beast. And this is why Facebook is the way it is. It's why Twitter is the way it is. It's why all the free social media sources or platforms are the way they are. If you aren't the customer, then you're the product. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The question is, what do you do about it? What can you do about it?
Well, not much, unless you don't want to use Google. Use
or Facebook or Twitter or any of these other services.
I mean,
so what are the alternatives? Especially when you're talking about some of the juggernauts like Facebook as far as social media goes, and like Amazon on the retail side. What do you do?
You just don't do anything. I mean, you're not. If you're expecting privacy, then don't be on the internet. I mean, it just that's my thought. I mean, you can't expect everything to be private. I mean, it just isn't. It isn't going to happen. Maybe you can host your own. You want to have your own domain name. You can host your own web server and have your own email. You could do that, sure. But
you won't get much from other people.
Yeah, you won't get much. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just. I don't get it. I think more of the exciting announcement was that this week was the release of the new Pixel phones. I mean, they're looking as even with privacy when it comes to devices, they're trying to get everybody all in with these devices. They're let's face it, the Google Pixel 3 and 3 XL was really overpriced for what it did. I mean, it was $1,000 for just like it was the iPhone, and it just did not sell very well. Well, now they released this 3A and 3A XL. The starting price is $399. They're gonna get people buying these like crazy now, and now they're in with.
Well, how does the tech compare to the phones that came before it that were $1,000? I mean, are these flagship phones, or are these the same type of phone with lower specs?
No, they're the same, if not a little bit higher. The cameras were really good. The processors were very fast. They really didn't cut a lot of corners on it. I mean, it's plastic casing. It might be a little cheaper, big deal. But I think the biggest thing that caught my eye with that part of it was the fact that now that's going to be sold at every carrier except AT&T.
Really? Why not AT&T?
I don't know. I have no idea. They'll let you use an unlocked phone with AT&T, but AT&T isn't going to sell it in their stores. T-Mobile, Sprint, and Verizon are all going to sell it. Verizon was the only carrier before that was the only carrier that was selling Pixel 3, or you could buy it directly through Google and get it unlocked, so it could be used with every carrier. So,
well, if I was going to use an Android phone, I think the Google Pixel devices would be one of the few that I would choose, mostly because it's the pure Android experience as compared to all the crap that so many of the other makers of smartphones and carriers, for that matter, throw in as, to try to make their devices different from every other Android phone.
I mean, I mean, the Pixel is a great phone. I said Google I think the price was too high, and plus they were only selling it on Google Store and then Verizon. Yeah, Verizon's a big carrier. But now they've got T-Mobile on board. They got Sprint on board. I think the U.S. Cellular, they're gonna. I think they're gonna sell a lot more phones and get into the market. And if you notice, Apple too was a big push now with trade-ins. They want people to trade their phones in. they're realizing that the market is saturated in
Yeah.
phones right now. And
Well, but see, that's where Apple has kind of an advantage because they have a retention rate of like 85 to 90%, which,
right.
Anyone who works in retail will tell you that that's like amazing.
Yeah.
Of course, at the same time, in a market like the smartphone market where you have so many imitators of everybody else, anything that's really unique is probably going to have, even at a higher cost, is going to have a better retention rate than, like all the other Me Too devices.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. So, I mean, all in all, with this article, privacy, I sum it up to just deal with it. You're gonna have to let go of some of your privacy. Just don't share what you don't want shared online. Easy, simple thing.
Do you want to do something kind of different? There was a question from Vincent. Let me see if I can find him.
From tonight?
Huh?
Someone in the chat room, you mean?
He wasn't in the chat room, but it was a question that came up today in the Mac the Future site about mail. And I gave him, well, basically what he was talking about was he had a problem sorting his business mail. He was using like folders and moving stuff in and out, but stuff was still getting all mixed up. So I started to think about that, and the answer I gave him was basically just go ahead and add a smart folder. And I'm going to see if this is going to work here. Hold on. Okay, so let me turn this off. And can I zoom this in? Let's go. I don't know if this is going to work.
No, I can see it.
Well, I mean, I can see the display, but what I kind of want is just the well, I'm not sure if this is going to work. I don't know how well people are going to be able to see this, but I'll try it. So what I've got here is a smart folder. It's called FY19 Biz, and the criteria that he was talking about was email that he gets within a particular fiscal year. So this is called FY19 Biz. And if we look at it, edit smart mailbox. I don't know how well you can see that. I've got 3 sets of criteria here. The first one is date received, and is after the date of 9/30/2019, which is the last day of the previous fiscal year. The second one is date received is before the date 10/1/2020, which is the first day of the next fiscal year. So basically, any mail that you get within these 2 dates would be eligible to go into this smart folder. And then as a third one, I've got message has flag, and I've got the gray flag that just says business stuffs. So if we come back over here, you see there's nothing there at the moment. I'm going to go into my inbox, and I'm going to select just some stuff. Let's see. Here's something from Mike Potter. So let's choose him. And I'm just going to choose these 4 right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flag these with the business stuffs flag. And you can see it's got all the flags right there on the side. And if we come back over to the FY19 business, it didn't put it in there. Why didn't it put it in there? Boy, that's embarrassing. So here's the grays. Right there.
It's got you put Pizza Hut in there.
Yeah. Now, see, now I want pizza. See, that should have worked. Oh, hold on. Let's get rid of that. No. It's still not showing up. But I mean, I could see that I just tried this earlier and it worked. All right, date received is after the date 9/30/2019. Date received is before the date 10/1/2020. Message has flag, gray flag.
Well, did you say after 9/30 in 2019?
No, it's after the date of 9/30/2019.
Right, which is later this year.
Right, or earlier this year. And then date received is before the date 10/1/2020. So that's the year-long date range. And then I've got message has flag, the gray business stuffs flag that I've got there. So if I click OK, now you see this should have worked. Oh wait, no. All right, well there's the ones that are flagged. But it should have been in here too. So it flagged it. This is all the stuff I had gray marked as and all of this should have been in this.
It's just as we do a live demo, that's what happens.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm glad we could share this thing together. I'm just going to quit. I'm embarrassed because it didn't work, and it should have worked.
We got the intent.
Okay. Yeah. Use flags and move stuff around, and you'll be happy.
Still sharing your screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that now. Let's come back over to there. And actually, that's not what I wanted either. You know, when things go wrong, they go terribly, terribly wrong. Get rid of that. There.
Hey.
But that's not really what I wanted either. No? Oh my God, things are just like going, it's blowing up on me here.
All right, we're good. We're good.
There. And I want this. There. Okay. Wow. You know, I think I'm going to call it quits before things go even more wrong. Dave, if people wanted to get a hold of you and say, why didn't you stop Guy from doing that? How would they do so?
Well, they can reach me on my podcast, In Touch with iOS, at intouchwithios.com. I also do a horse racing podcast, and you probably should have listened last week because I made a lot of money and made these were our picks, and maybe you should listen again at offthechartsHorseRacing.com. Both of them are on iTunes, and then I'm also on Twitter at DaveG65, and we have to make sure we talk about MacStock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We haven't left yet. If you would like to help support the things that I do, and hopefully things will go better next time, you can go to coffee.com/MacParrot or patreon.com/MacParrot and help support all the things that I do. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. And MacStock 2019, it's by the time you see this, it's probably too late for the early bird special. However, even though the price has gone up to, I think, $249,
we'll bring it down $70.
Yeah, if using the coupon code MyMacGuy or
In Touch,
hey, you can get $70 off that price, making your final cost $179 for a weekend of fun and frivolity over there in Woodstock, Illinois. It's just outside of Chicago. The MacStock Conference and Expo is a 2-day conference where you will learn things, you will have fun, you will get to meet all of the people that you watch or listen to through podcasts or online that are obviously there at the show. If they're not at the show, you probably won't see them there. But there's going to be a lot of...
She's going to be there.
Yeah, actually, she's the I think she's the leadoff speaker. She's the leadoff speaker this year.
And I follow her.
Yeah. She actually, I think she's no, that's on. Wow, I am like so just out of it tonight. I don't know what the heck my problem is. All right. So, MacStock Conference and Expo, it's in Woodstock, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. It's going to be July 27th and 28th. I will have my stuff more together by the time July comes around. Maybe. But it's still going to be a lot of fun, even if I completely lose my stuff. So if you would like to get a hold of me, all you have to do is send me an email to guy@mymac.com. I can be found on the Twitters, MacParrot or VertShark over on there on the Twitters, and you can find all of my stuff, mymac.com or vertshark.com. I really do appreciate the fact that so many of you have followed along with all of the crazy stuff that I do each and every week. And besides, of course, this show, there's the mymac.com podcast, as well as... I haven't done it in like a month, but Guy's Daily Drive eventually will come back. I don't know why it has taken me so long. I do. Actually, I do. It's just I've been so busy. So busy. Oh, I don't know if you knew this. I lost one of my expensive crowns.
Oh, great.
Yeah. It just like all of a sudden it wasn't there anymore, so I figured I swallowed it. So on Friday I've got to go back for another impression. I don't know what that's going to cost me, but anyway. Thank you all so very, very much for joining us this evening. We really, really do appreciate it. And let's see. There it is. Dave, please, for the love of God, say goodnight.
Good night, for the love of God.
See, it was a good one. Way to go.